Welcome to part 7 of my research in relation to Iona and the St. Columbas prophecies. So we're looking at Iona Limited. Sorry, did I say Iona at the beginning? Iona. I'm not too sure if I said Iona or Iona. Anyway, it's Iona Island in Scotland and the St. Columbas prophecies. So let's look at Iona, which was already linked in the last part to somebody called Ian Fleming Zoo. Probably pronouncing that wrong, I apologise. And it appears as though they've used Ian Fleming's name. He could be using a false identity and collaborating on the control of arms with Russia. They appear to be linked to it, which you're going to see here. So here's Iona Limited, and it was incorporated in 2016. I think is that when Theresa May was the Prime Minister, or David Cameron? I can't remember. Either way, they're both important in this and both complicit, according to the research that I've got. And on the incorporation document, you've got some companies. I haven't had a chance to research these, but I found this address particularly important. H.M. Williams. Now, that could be a name, could mean Her Majesty's, not too sure. But that requires further research in relation to that specific company. But when you search, it's also got another company here which I need to research. Okay, but when you search Iona, you also get different companies. So you get Carnstone Limited on the right here. That's within Companies House. Let's have a look at Carnstone Limited. Oh. Sorry. I can zoom in on the address. We've got an address in Scotland. Okay, so that immediately links to the connections I'm finding in Scotland all the way through this particular document. Incorporated on the 23rd of February 2001, so the same time as same year as the World Trade Center disaster, and they didn't change their name until October 2012. And they are linked to Oswald, so they're a fraudulent company linked to a fraudulent company, Oswald's, which also then ties in with the research in relation to Douglas Dougie Smith, who was the Scottish Special Advisor for the last few UK Prime Ministers. I suspect he's a high-level Freemason. He's been arrested for threats to kill. According to the research, he has been started up fever sex parties, and also he practices the dark arts, according to Nadine Dorries. Well, here you are. You have now links to ingenious companies via that company. Ingenious Solar, UK. And it goes to Ingenious Holdings on the incorporation document. We've then got loads of other ingenious companies. I've only shown you some of them. And of course, Ingenious features a lot throughout the fraud, as we've already mentioned in this document. You've also got a connection here via David Fitzsimmons to British Petroleum again, which we've already seen on this document. And this is BP Gas Marketing Limited. Sorry, when I zoom in, it just loses it. And you can see it was incorporated in 1967, 4 years before the World Economic Forum. And it should have Voyager Petroleums in brackets UK PLC on the incorporation document. No, it doesn't. So that's a fraudulent company, Central Rio Oils. So that's criminal. Should never have been trading. You've also got BP Exploration Company Limited on the right. The same director, BP Shipping Limited. Now, these companies had already cropped up on the evidence and research linking to, I believe it was Russia, the case of Nicola Bulley, the UK government. And now you've got a link, the same director is linked to Interserve. Interserve links to the Flemings very, very quickly. Deborah Fleming on the research I've got. That was a big company that was closing down in 2024. You've also got a link to Hampshire Cultural Trust and the Blue Lamppost. Blue Lamppost is already featured in my Julian Assange document, and links to the Chief of Police, Chief Constable Association. And from there, within that company, you have Scott Chilton, who was the Chief Constable of Dorset Police at the time that I was reporting my fraud. They then moved him to Hampshire and Isle of Wight Police, along with Sam Dorea, the Deputy Chief Constable of Dorset Police. So we now have links already very, very quickly to all of this from that Iona company to do with the arms control, nuclear arms control. We also have another company here, 360 Energy Wales UK Limited, with a previous name of Iona. Yeah, you can see at the bottom there, until 2016 it was called Iona UK Limited. Changed its name again in 2023 as I'm exposing the fraud. And it was originally started in 1918 or 1991? 1991, the year of the Gulf War. And within the records, you've got Brian Reed again. Remember, if you've seen the last couple of videos, you'll know that Brian Reed featured throughout, and also Stephen Mabbott. So it appears as though that is a deceased person or a stolen identity, and they've just used his name to record loads of companies. You can see there's over 4,000. Now, the Queen died on the 8th of September 2022, according to research. This is my statement, okay, between those two dates. On the 7th of September, Gary Strong, who was a director, resigned from the company. On the 9th of September, I sent a very important email to my company, or everyone within my company. This was after I separated from my home address with knowing the risks. Okay, so they were two key things that happened with the Queen's death in between. Here's the Queen's death on the 8th of September, 2023. And around that same time, you'll see there's news articles saying that King Charles III has claimed to be a descendant of Vlad the Impaler. Okay, so this was a later article when he became the king. But he then starts making links that he is related to Vlad the Impaler. It says here, King Charles III has claimed to be descendant of Vlad the Impaler, the violent 15th century warlord and inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula. His great-grandmother, a German princess, okay, so we've got the German correct connection, named Mary of Teck, is thought to have been descendant from two of Vlad's sons. This is important. Remember, we're talking about fluid being taken from children and consumed on a vast scale now. That's interesting because it says here September the 7th, 2024. So that was created fairly recently, the article. Okay. And 2 years, almost to the day after the Queen's death. This article on the right is dated the 9th of September 2022, which I don't understand, because it's saying it's the 9th of September 2022, also suggesting that King Charles is related, is a descendant of Dracula, it says here. So this is very interesting. So I just thought I would show that. Now, what's going on with all of this? Well, we've clearly got a church connection to this evil system that's in place. But it's not just the Church of England. It's every religion appears to have been infiltrated by the Freemasons and potentially corrupted. You've got Christianity, you've got Judaism, you've got various other faith groups that appear to be linked to this. And this is Revelations 9, according to an article from that I've got from the Bible, supposedly. And it talks about the suffering of humanity to the point where men will seek death but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them. Okay, so these people appear to be trying to bring about prophecies that only God should bring about. Who are men that believe they can bring about the end of times or the end of humanity and suffering on a mass scale to fit biblical prophecies? I mean, that's not God. That's the opposite of God. isn't it? Of course it is. These people don't work for God. Now, I had a thought about all of this, and I'd seen information about movies and how relevant they are to all of this. And I thought about a movie of where people have been made blind. And I'd seen a video of Elon Musk's mother talking about Neuralink and that it will help people who are blind. I'd also seen information and evidence, which I think has been altered since, suggesting that Madeleine McCann's father, Gerald McCann, was studying the effects of radiation from Mars on the eyes of humans, which would be the first thing to go with electromagnetic or microwave radiation. That, I believe, has since been altered. But I was thinking about this, and I hadn't searched for the movie or anything like that. And the very next morning, this article was the first thing that I saw on my TikTok account, and it was about the C movie. And this is just a screenshot that I took at the time because I couldn't quite believe that it was literally the day after that this was literally, it was there telling me, Gary, this is more important than what you were thinking and you need to look into this. So I suspect that they were trying to make the world, or the majority of people, blind through the communication systems, so then they would consensually receive the mark of the beast via a microchip, and then that would lead into the transhumanism. Okay, what better way would you convince the world to voluntarily have a microchip on their brain? You make them blind and give the promise of sight back to them. So this is the movie C. This is just some screenshots taken from TikTok. And you can see when I actually took the screenshot, it was the 24th of November when I had that thought about it and then saw the TikTok. This film is about a future when humankind has lost its sense of sight. The father of twins who was born with the mythic ability to see must protect his tribe against a threatened queen. Now, I haven't had a chance to add anything else to this, but I do urge you, go and look at the C movie. Okay, and you'll see that its director, I can't remember his name, Lawrence, he's directed some other movies, including Constantine, which is about angels and demons, but also about opening a portal to hell using the Spear of Destiny. Now, this is important because you'll see from my other evidence that Brian Harvey had been told by someone in the music industry that they had part of the Stone of Destiny around their neck, and that Edinburgh was the real Jerusalem. Okay, the Stone of Destiny, if you don't know what it is, it's the stone that should be used in the coronations for kings and queens. Okay, the information suggests a fake stone was used for King Charles and for the Queen, so they are potentially imposters, according to the information that I've received, and that they're all therefore part of this. Now, the other movie that person directed was a movie called I Am Legend, which is about a zombie apocalypse starring Will Smith. And obviously we've already had a mention of a zombie apocalypse and 28 Years Later movie and how that ties into the evidence within this document. That director also had dealings with the BBC, which are heavily involved, linked to the child trafficking, or certainly cases of child abuse that we're all aware of, we keep seeing. And also they've got ties to certain individuals, haven't they, that I've been led to believe have been involved in child activity, shall we say, inappropriate child activity. They've also linked to the fraud, BBC, massively. They've got fraudulent entity companies as well. They've refused to assist me in exposing this. Okay. But also, he's done commercials for McDonald's, which we've already talked about, and Coca-Cola. Now, he was born, this is the director for the movie C, I can't remember his name, and I haven't had a chance to put it on here, Lawrence, I believe. He was born in 1971, the same year as the World Economic Forum. Now, the Stone of Destiny also ties in with we're just going to go back to the map at the beginning of the document. Now, if you look on page 23 of the document, we've already mentioned this earlier in one of the videos, you'll see where all of these ley lines converge. Oh, if I can zoom in on it. No. Sorry, I managed to come off the screen then. So you can see where all of these lines converge. If I can zoom it down a bit. At the bottom of the screen here anyway. I haven't got the actual zoomed in map, but where they all converge is a circle of stones, sorry. And one of those stones was replaced at some point, according to the research. At the same time, you had the Stone of Destiny, or around the same time, you had the Stone of Destiny being kept in Edinburgh, up here somewhere. If I can get it on there now. We know where Edinburgh is, roughly on the corner of that Pentagon, or just across. And that was moved from Edinburgh Castle, according to the research, earlier this year, 2024, to Perth. I believe it was Perth. But in that stone circle, there was a stone replaced, and it was called King Charles III, or something similar, King III. Sorry, I haven't got it here. So we have to consider that the Stone of Destiny has somehow been moved and used in that stone circle at that location. Now, if I get a chance, I will show more evidence on that. Here's the 28 days later research from earlier. So what it appears we have is a very corrupt group of individuals, in fact, evil group of individuals, who may well have been deceived by evil to believe that they have to try and fulfill some prophecies that they believe have to be fulfilled. Okay? But if they've been deceived and it's actually the devil, then it means those prophecies don't necessarily have to be fulfilled. And if they are fulfilled and you cannot come back from that, then all you've done is given the victory to the devil. So whatever these people are planning, and it does look as though the ultimate plan is the prophecy of Iona, which I'll come back to at the beginning of the document here. Okay, where it says, "But ere the world come to an end," written by St. Columbas, it appears as though that is what their ultimate aim is going to be. But they were hoping to bring immense suffering, I believe, through the removal of sight and the implementation of microchips and to transhumanism before it came to that. But very fortunately, and I believe this is divine intervention by our Creator, all of this evidence to expose their plan has come to light at the nick of time. And that means everybody can be saved, including those individuals who may well have been deceived. And I refer you back to the Bereshit prophecy, where our Creator may have known that was going to happen and gave us the message just in time to prevent it from coming about. So those of you involved in this, stop now whilst you can. You'll be making a far greater mistake than anyone can imagine for yourselves, but also, of course, the world, the children, the poor animals, and all life on our planet. Let's change this system whilst we can together to bring about heaven on earth with our conscience being raised by our Creator before it is too late. This world is an incredible place, everybody. Let's not throw it away. God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.